On Tamara.
Oh, I didn't know Tamara's coming? I thought she. Oh,
So-
okay. Can you pull a chair in?
So thank you everyone for convening for our introduction to our Cisco and Red River technology partners. I'll allow them to introduce themselves in a moment. But again, the purpose of this meeting is we mentioned a couple of months ago that there is a need to provide our sites with options and opportunities to engage members and career pathways, job placement opportunities. And we found out, and I say we, because Cassandra has been leading this effort. Cassandra did wonderful work, wonderful foundational work of gathering information from the field. And to date, we have how many sites interested in becoming a part of this pilot year?
We have about 29.
Cassandra?
About 29.
29 sites, and during my site tours in the Bay Area, there are a few others, but we know that there is a need in the network for online learning opportunities that extend our learning continuum, deepen our service delivery model, taking it from the experiential model and transforming our members into young workers, or preparing them for their next phase in life after Clubhouse. And one of the ways that we've selected was to provide this learning platform so that current members, alumni, family members of our members can also access this industry tool, this industry education tool that lines to credentials and ultimately jobs in the IT field. And so I am happy to introduce the Cisco partners with you. I've had a wonderful, wonderful relationship with Marie Zeichert, who will be leading this presentation, and Red River Technology, which was my support site in my old role as a district leader. So I've used this platform before, had a lot of success. We do have sites in our network that are currently Cisco Net Academy users, more specifically Saibono in South Africa has been using the tool for years and has sent thousands of members through the program. And so I'm excited to introduce this tool to the rest of the network. And so thank you, Cisco. Thank you for Red River Technology for introducing our staff. This is the core network staff for our entire global network. And so these are the folks who will serve as ambassadors and thought partners to our programs and our program sites and helping them get acclimated to the site. So lots of questions, team, and thank you. And I'm going to pass it over to Marie to introduce her team.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate the opportunity to continue partnering with you, Lisa, and collaborate with your team members as well. So I'm going to take the opportunity to share my screen in a minute and find the PowerPoint presentation that I put together. Okay. And it will make it easy. So Jill, why don't you introduce yourself to the team?
Hi, my name is Jill Alcorn. I'm the Associate Business Development Manager for the US and Canada. So I do support all the business development managers like Marie throughout the US and Canada and their various initiatives, and I pioneer some things of my own. So I'm really happy to be on this call today. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jill. Richard?
Good day, everybody. My name is Richard Ackerman. I am with Red River. I'm the Vice President of our Workforce Development and our Educational Services Division. We've been a longtime partner with Cisco from a networking academy perspective. As Lisa had mentioned, we had supported her organizations in the past, and so we're very excited to talk with you today about our role and many of the programs that we offer in our communities for our learners and our educational partners. So thank you all for your time.
Kristen?
Good morning, everyone. I am Kristen Nareau. I am the technical manager for the United States and Canada. So along with assisting the business development managers and any of the technical aspects that they have, I also run several initiatives as well.
Iris?
Good morning, everyone. I'm Iris Kutch, and I work for Red River. I'm a part of the workforce development team, and I manage the Cisco networking academies.
Thank you, Iris. And I'm Marie Swickert. I'm Cisco's Business Development Manager for the Mid-Atlantic and the Northeast, and I'm happy to provide an overview for you today. I can share with you that I have a blind dog who is barking incessantly right now, so I need to call my husband to retrieve the dog so it doesn't distract me. So bear with me for 1 second.
Iris, can we have you repeat what you said? We couldn't hear you. I don't know if you can get closer to the mic.
For those in the office, by the way, Alberto, I recommend muting when that side is not speaking. I think some of the noise that we might be hearing might be coming from that end.
Thank you. I appreciate that. It would be great if you could all mute. And Iris, they asked if you could reintroduce yourself because we couldn't hear you at first.
Okay, can you hear me now? I switched. Is that better? Okay. I'm Iris Kutch. I work for Red River. I'm a part of the workforce development team, and I manage the Cisco Networking Academy.
Perfect. Okay, so my husband has retrieved the blind dog, and I'm ready to provide you with a high-level view of the Cisco Networking Academy. So in my role, and as well as with the counterparts on the phone today, we try to influence key business, government, and education leaders to implement the Cisco Networking Academy because our goal is to empower individuals with career possibilities, as you see on the screen. We want to ensure that they can be economically sustainable, not only for themselves, but for their respective communities and or the regions that they live in the world. We are presently celebrating our 25th anniversary, and we have a very large presence from a global perspective, as you can see with the numbers at the bottom. We've reached 17.5 million students to date. We're in 190 countries. As you can see, we have over 11,000 academies, and we collaborate with employers to provide career opportunities. Now, knowing that you folks are a global organization, we're going to try and share with you some global information as well during this call. But it's important to know that this has been a STEM and a workforce initiative at Cisco for the past 25 years. And we've really evolved the program based upon industry needs. So we're going to be talking about some new curriculum and new entry-level certifications that we're getting ready to release next week. So it's always top of mind for us to ensure that we're relevant in the industry. So as you can see, we have various course offerings in networking, in programmable infrastructure, in cybersecurity, in operating systems and IT, in programming, and really the cornerstone of this practice is contextual hands-on practice labs that we provide so that the students are not only learning the theory, but they're learning the application. And if any time you have questions, please feel free to simply ask those questions accordingly by raising your hand, and maybe Jill can inform me that somebody's raising their hand. So again, knowing that we have a global partnership, Lisa thought it would be important to share with you our presence in the respective countries and the partnerships that we have. So I'm just going to go through these slides so that you can read them. Rest assured that you're going to have copies of these respective slides so that you can digest it a little bit further. But as you can see, we have wonderful partnerships around the globe utilizing the Cisco Networking Academy. All righty, so for those of you who may not be familiar with this world-class STEM and workforce initiative, For the past 25 years, we've been providing a compendium of ICT and networking curriculum to our constituents, and we developed this through a public-private partnership. Students typically attend an educational entity whereby they learn these respective skills. And when I first started over 20 years ago, we were primarily working with high schools, community colleges, and four-year universities here in the United States. But we all know that everybody needs internet skills or uses internet in their daily life today. So we now make all these courses available to anybody who wants to upskill and provide STEM and workforce initiatives to their constituents. So as you can see in the upper right-hand corner, military, government entities, NGOs are using our courses. And over the years, we've evolved from instructor-delivered courses to have some self-paced courses. And that was really because our learners came to us saying they wanted to augment their knowledge. So hence, we have self-paced courses that can be delivered as well. So as students go through our curriculum, first and foremost, they're learning the technical acumen. But as we participated in the World Economic Forums over the years, we learned from our partners that students needed to refine their business skills as well as their career-ready skills. So we now have a compendium of technical business and career-ready skills available at no cost to all of the learners that participate in the Cisco Networking Academy. I'd really like to point out that our courses are really entry-level courses for those that are early in career. Many of the courses align to industry recognized certification, and also we provide digital badges for courses that do not align to an industry recognized certification. We embed entrepreneurship in most of our courses, and we highly encourage further education. So here in the United States, we work closely with our high schools, our community colleges, and our four-year universities to provide articulation agreements. And I'm sure that you folks who are global try to impart the same kind of partnerships. Now, you may be interested in what Cisco provides as a partner with organizations. So take a minute and look at this respective slide and keep in mind that we are corporate social responsibility delivering this program. So we license the parameters of this program at no cost because they're being sponsored by Cisco. However, if an academy chooses to implement a course that requires equipment, we provide a 67% discount, and academies can work with any partner of their choice. Coincidentally, Red River is not only an academy support center and an instructor training center, but they're also a partner, so they can pass along that educational discount if anybody needs equipment. Notice we want to incentivize our learners as well as our instructors to achieve an industry certification. So we provide a significant discount to incentivize our individuals to take advantage of those opportunities. And knowing that the field of technology is always evolving and changing because life is fundamentally intertwined with the internet, we provide ongoing professional development sponsored by Cisco on a quarterly basis. You may want to write down that on May 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, we'll be hosting our third quarterly professional development. And Red River, whom will be your Academy Support Center and Instructor Training Center, also offers quarterly professional development. And that is part of the services that they provide. So Iris, might you be able to share with us when Red River is hosting their next professional development session so folks can jot that information down?
Sure, we had a little snafu with the last date, but the proposed date now is May 12th.
May 12th. Okay, great.
Yeah,
So
securing that date.
wonderful. So there's lots of opportunities for you as regional folks to join in on those sessions. And for those folks that are already academies, you can hopefully message the importance of joining, because not only do we talk about new initiatives, but we talk about curriculum augmentation and best practices on how to deliver the respective courses. So it's really a wonderful way for our instructors to keep up to date on what's available. Now, same thing holds true for students. We constantly hold career webinar so that they can refine their skills. And there's a portal that we can share with you to show you how we have a list of all those respective courses. So let me explain the ecosystem, and then I'll stop to ascertain any questions that you might have. So as you can see that this is a global ecosystem where we want to ensure inclusivity for all of our students around the globe. And we are Cisco, and we create the curriculum, the learning management system, the instructor resources. We work with organizations to ensure that our courses align to digital badges and industry certifications. And as I mentioned, we provide equipment discounts as well as voucher discounts for the learners and the students. We have Red River joining us today. They're our partner who support our academies on a day-to-day basis with support and ongoing training. And then your organization will set up academies such that there will definitely be learners, and hopefully there'll be either instructors or instructor facilitators, depending upon which course you choose. And in some instances, you may have a facility where everybody comes and meets together. And as Lisa said, we allow lots of flexibility in the sense that family members, alumni members, as well as the actual learners at the Clubhouse networks can take advantage of all these courses. And then we're proud to say that after students learn these necessary digital skills, we want to help connect them to career opportunities. So internally within Cisco, we have something called Talent Bridge. And then we've created a relationship with a recruitment company that's global known as Manpower. We're also finalizing a deal with another global recruitment company called Ronstadt. And then we also have apprenticeship opportunities here in the United States. Keep in mind that all the services from the employers are at no cost to your students. So we're trying to encourage them to refine their digital skills such that they can be marketable and employable. And we're providing these various mechanisms to help them become employable. So we have leading edge curriculum that aligns to the industry. And I know I shared that a little earlier. This is another slide that just reiterates all the different varieties of curriculum we have. And let me share the platforms that they're delivered on. And, you know, the technology is evolving. So Cisco is always changing. So bear with us as I explain this to you. On the far right-hand side of the screen, you see netacad.com. That has been our traditional learning management system over the past 20 some odd years, where instructors deliver the respective classes. And prior to the pandemic, instructors were the main way of delivering curriculum in a classroom environment. However, we now have to become flexible, and the pandemic taught us to pivot. So now instructor-led classes can be delivered in person, they can be delivered in a hybrid methodology, or they can be delivered 100% in a distance learning mode. And many of those courses are career ready. Now, well over a year ago, we wanted to ensure that folks around the globe could have access to these digital courses that we made available. So we came up with yet another platform called Skills for All. And that's where our self-paced courses were focused on. And those courses could be instructor facilitated as opposed to instructor led. And same methodology in the sense that they're free, they're flexible, but they're mobile friendly, where the courses on netacad.com were not mobile friendly. And really, the rationale for that is so that we could reach learners anywhere around the world who had access to mobile devices. Now, knowing that we had to innovate, we did that on the Skills for All platform. And we have the netacad.com platform, and we want to combine the two into one. So our engineering team is working diligently to ensure that that will take place. And that probably won't take place for a few months, but we make sure that we keep our community up to date relative to the progress that we're making. So right now, academies have to use both platforms to access the wide variety of courses that they have readily available. And we have various documentation to provide folks with step sheets on how to actually do that. Now, again, I mentioned that we're flexible and we have to meet all learners around the world. So we have the independent learner, we now have the hybrid model, and we have instructor-led classes. So the Clubhouse network can choose what's best for your respective organization wherever you are in the world. So here are the list, and I know this might be a little difficult to see, of all the courses that we make available in the various categories. And we're going to ensure that we provide you with a course catalog that delineates all the parameters of these courses respectively. So if I go to the next slide, it will show you how we've delineated these courses into 3 categories. We have exploratory courses, we have career-ready courses, and we have complementary course offerings. The career-ready courses are the ones that we've probably had for the longest time, and the reason they're called career-ready is they typically align to an industry certification. Not every single one does, but the majority of them do. The exploratory courses are the ones that we created as a result of our students coming to us saying that they'd like to diversify their skill set because maybe their educational organization didn't have enough shelf space relative to delivering these courses. And then complementary offerings, Cisco had to do our due diligence to ensure that we added these programmable courses because networks are software defined, and that's the foundation of many of our courses. So we need to teach folks programming and coding so that if they want to be network or cybersecurity specialists, they'll be able to do that in a most efficient and effective way. Now, notice the different icons on the screen. If it has a triangle next to it, it can be self-paced, which means an individual can go through the course by themselves and the instructor can set up that respective course for the students. However, we're rolling out some new functionality next week in what we call an alpha phase, where many of the courses will have instructor facilitation or instructor facilitation features, much like we've had under our career ready courses. So lots of changes, but we'll keep you all up to date relative to those changes. Those exploratory courses are typically anywhere from 2 to 70 hours, but most of them are really anywhere from probably 2 to 30 hours. And our career ready courses typically are 70 hours in duration with lots of labs and hands-on activities. And let me stop at this point because you might have questions, because I know I've shared a lot of information with you. And anybody on the Cisco team or Red River team, if you'd like to interject, feel free to bring up anything that maybe I missed during the overview that I've given to date. Does anybody have any questions? I see a hand raised by Cassandra. So make sure you unmute yourself, Cassandra.
Yep. So thanks for sharing all this information, Maria. It's really great. General question, on average, how long does it take a student to complete a course? And I know that's going to vary depending on the course they're taking, but on average, about how long does it take a student to start a course and complete a course and kind of earn that certificate?
It really varies depending upon what course you're taking. So to put it into perspective, CCNA is typically integrated into a program of study here in the United States, and each of those courses are offered during an entire semester. So it could take anywhere from a year to a year and a half, depending upon, how they're implemented. The exploratory courses, you can set a start date and an end date as the instructor and ask that the student complete the course during the duration of that start and end date. So we really build flexibility into the program. So it's a real difficult question to answer. Kristen, I know you work with a lot of instructors who set up classes. Do you want to provide some feedback to Cassandra?
Yeah, so with all of our courses, we set a recommended number of hours for each of the courses. So some of them can be anywhere from 6 hours up to 12 hours. And I think the max that we have on any of our courses is 70 hours at this moment. So each of the CCNA courses are listed as 70 hours, and that usually with a 70-hour course correlates to a full semester length course. That can also be shaved down. We have seen instructors that will teach a CCNA course in about a month or two. Sometimes they'll actually do CCNA 1 and 2 inside of one semester. So it really depends on the instructor, how they're setting up the courses. And then, of course, if they're doing it self-paced, that's really up to the learner. Sometimes you can fly through a course. If it's 6 hours, you can probably do it in 4 or 5 hours. And then it really just depends on the learner. So I hope that helps.
That was
Yeah, it
great.
is. Just a quick follow-up to that. So it sounds like the exploratory courses are maybe a little bit shorter because it's just kind of dipping a toe in as opposed to kind of getting fully immersed. Is that a correct assumption?
Yes, that's a perfectly correct assumption.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, sure. And does anybody have questions relative to hours of training for instructors? Because I know we have the Red River team on here. So Iris, why don't you and I were on a call with the university last week that's going to offer our cyber ops associate, and you had set up a very specific schedule for them. Why don't you share how we offer, how you folks offer some of the training for these career ready courses?
Sure. And I would also like to add
I think.
that it will also depend on if they are studying to take the certification, because you may want to practice more of those skills in each one of the classes. So that is also a deciding factor in how long it will take to get through each course. But as far as the training is concerned, for instructors, we are just doing the very basics to help them get through the curriculum and train their students. So normally those courses, if they are instructor-led, take about 40 hours. And that's a in-person course. Well, it's virtual, but meeting an instructor. And we like to make sure that they can do the labs and understand all of the concepts. So give or take, it depends on your schedule. We try to meet the different schedules of everyone. It can be a consecutive week or two. Well, we normally use about 8 days, consecutive days, or it can be spread out over months. So it depends on when you will want to teach the course. So we try to build that custom schedule with your schedules and the instructor trainer schedule to meet those needs. And sometimes they can be in the evening.
Just to clarify, when we spread things over a period of months, that might be because you have a busy 9 to 5 type of job, and you can carve out a couple of hours, Tuesdays and Thursdays or something like that. But I think to Iris's point, we very much try to be very flexible with your schedule and your needs, but also we have a conversation to understand your background, right? You may already have that certification, and we can do something like a fast track where we open up the content to you and we focus on your experiencing it like a learner as well as an educator, right? So.
And I'd like to point out the key, it might be a little difficult to see, but if the course has a square next to it, it does require instructor training. And we just rolled out this new certification that I'll share with you in a few slides. But what Richard is doing is we're working with Massachusetts Rehabilitation Commission because it does not necessarily require instructor training, but it's recommended. And Richard, why don't you just share what you're doing with that organization? And, it's showing the flexibility that you as an organization have to meet the needs of these educators.
Yeah, so I think there's two different things that we're doing. So we're running sessions where we're working with both educators and learners of some of the newer content that Marie and the NetAcad team are going to highlight and present. And it's a great way for those introductory careers, but it's also a way for those that are facilitating the program to continue to run and educate and be aligned to that certification track. So we've got over 20 different educators on our team. Many are active educators, many are retired military personnel. So lots and lots of years of experience in education and making sure that the learners are having success. And success means they're learning the content, they're getting certifications, they're getting career opportunities. Maria, I think there's 2 questions that are in the room with Lisa, and I think Jason also had his hand up.
Oh, I can't see the questions. I'm sorry. Can somebody
Yeah.
read them for us?
Well,
They just have
they
their
have it in
hand
the
up.
room.
So, so I wanted to respond to a couple of things. Because of the diversity of our network, that means each site will select kind of what's best for them based on the funding available at that program site. We know that some sites, some of our Best Buy Teen Tech Center sites, have a line item for training and development. And so this is a conversation I've already had with the Best Buy team. So Best Buy is going to allocate funding for their sites for tech support, but also whether they choose hybrid or instructor led. So to give you an example, in Somerville, when we hired a trainer to lead the CCNA and the cyber ops classes, I had to pay union wages. And so it cost me about $3,500 for a 16-week course. We ran the course for 9 hours a week. 3 hours because our community learning space students were there either in the morning for 3 hours or at night for 3 hours. So just to give you an idea of spans, it was 16 weeks, 9 hours a week. They got through the CCNA or the cyber ops, and it cost me $3,500 to have a professor from Bunker Hill Community College. It was actually the director of IT that ran the class. Sites don't have to do that. The wonderful thing is Richard's team offers a train-the-trainer course so someone can be a Cisco IT trainer. That will be left up to the individual sites, their development team. And some of our sites have workforce development units. They will have to choose that option for themselves. But that's just to give you an idea of what I did in my school district. And we know that most of our sites aren't using the prevailing union mass wages, which were super high. It was basically $65 an hour. That's high, right? We know trainers were probably in our community-based learning spaces that aren't union are running about $30 an hour. So again, it's to have that instructor in front of high school students, and my students in particular were English language learners, level 1 and 2. I wanted that scaffolding for them to have that body in the class with them. And in fact, I had 2 people in the class with them. So that's just an example of how it can be done. I wanted to ask, Marie, do you have in your archives like virtual classes where there's a virtual trainer? That's for some reason that sounds familiar. Did
What
I
do
hear that from you or Richard?
What do you mean a virtual trainer?
Well, there's a possibility of having a CCNA class where there is a virtual instructor leading the class. So sites could plug in that way and not specifically have their own instructors. Is that a possibility?
Oh, so are you saying have an instructor who's certified to teach CCNA and then they in turn teach it for your various organizational sites?
Yes.
That's something we would have to explore. Richard has a lot of people on staff who are CCNA certified. And, that's something you would have to work out with Richard. And if he can't find people, I potentially could find people. So what we've done is one of Richard's staff teaches for the National Institute for the Blind, and he also teaches a special program at Cisco. And then I have another program going on in Washington, D.C., where I was able to identify Cisco engineers who wanted to teach Cisco Networking Academy. So we have a wide variety of options that we could provide you if needed.
Lisa, I think one of the things that we had mentioned is during the virtual instructor-led training that we do for educators, we'll record that content so that people can go back and look and watch that content. I don't know that we've necessarily tuned it for a virtual learning session necessarily. We certainly could, and actually a number of our educators do some amazing things online, and they have their own channels and lots of this. But that certainly is an option that we could build, especially because we present it in that way so much, but it is usually for that particular class, not to be necessarily focused on, you know, reuse many times over, but we could.
Okay. Jason, I see you have your hand up, but you're muted. There you go.
Yeah, thanks, Marie. I just wanted to ask, as you're making changes to these programs and these platforms, what is the best way to keep up to date on the changes that you're making?
That's a wonderful question. And I'm going to let Kristen answer that because she's our technical manager. I know the answer, but I'd like to hear her response. Engage everybody on this call today.
We have a couple different ways that we keep everyone informed. So first and foremost, there are newsletters that we send out periodically with any of the latest changes. We also, during the IPD week that the technical managers host, we have program updates where we will let everyone know through the instructors and partners alike all the different changes that are happening. There's also a place on netacad.com. Let me see if I can pull it up for you really quickly.
Yeah, please. And we're also coming out with, this is hot off the press, a new resource library. And one of our former technical managers, Echo Rantanen, who Kristen replaced, and Kristen's doing a phenomenal job for us, is now called our Instructor Experience Manager. So we're going to be launching that sometime in the next few months, where there's going to be a plethora of resources available, whether they be documents and or videos, a lot of great resources.
So there is a link on netacad.com. If you go under resources, and I believe it's course resources, there is a link at the very top that says Skills for All Communication Updates. And if you click
Can you
on
pull
that
up the
link,
screen, Kristen? Yeah, because these people probably haven't been on our site yet, so
that's fine.
they can
I'm
have the
stealing the
visibility.
screen for you.
Yep, absolutely.
So here is our course resources. So this is what I was talking about. If you go under resources, course resources, it'll pull up this screen here. And then this very first link is Skills for All Communication Updates. This is where you can find some of the latest information that's been announced. We have launch announcements. We also have some of our other announcements that have come out. We have the instructor led or self-paced. We have the timeline, functionality details. So just there's tons of information on this page, and they all kind of link to other pages as well. So that is where we have all of our asynchronous type announcements.
And Kristen, can you show them the bell where we have the newsletters for instructors and students? So look at the upper right-hand corner, folks. It's not as intuitive as I would like it to be, but you know, there's a bell with a dot next to it, which means please pay attention to what's under the bell. And notice that we have news and events for students, news and event for instructors, and news and events for partners. And much like my view, there's a lot of blue dots there, which means we haven't had a minute to read them yet, but notice we provide you with really great information relative to what's happening. So I would highly recommend that once you log into our system and have access, on a weekly basis, you pay attention to the bell and read the updates that are taking place, because they're always changing, to be quite honest. So we do our best to send out emails. We do our best to post things on our website. And then we have these respective newsletters. And if anybody has any better ways to communicate, we would certainly look forward to your recommendations so that we could improve the user experience, because the biggest challenge is getting our users to read the emails, open the newsletters, read what's on the website. And I see people shaking their head because we're all busy and there's so much information out there, but we do our best to really share it all with you. Any more questions before I continue and show you some other program parameters? Okay, so I'll continue. All righty, I'm going to close this window here. So what I'd like to show you next is that next week on the 24th, we're announcing 2 new early entry-level credentials. And I was pretty excited about this when I learned about it when Lisa and I were early in our discussions, because she said she wanted some industry credentials. And as you know, notice on the right-hand side, we have a pyramid of all the industry certification categories that are released by Cisco. So we have entry, associate, professional, and expert. Keep in mind, I mentioned that the majority of our courses are early in career. So that's really at the entry or associate level. We do have one course at the professional level, but that's typically being used by four-year universities. But the new certification is called Cisco Certified Support Technician in Networking or Cisco Certified Support Technician in Cybersecurity. And as you can see, it's applicable for tech job seekers, career changes, college and high school learners. And we're really providing foundational knowledge in both networking and cybersecurity, assuming the folks would like to go on to earn their associate level certification. So the next slide will give you more details about the network support technician. And I'll make this a little bigger. And knowing that I have Kristen, who's a real expert on this on the call today. Kristen, why don't you share how this works with our folks today?
You're wanting to explain the courses, how they align?
Not necessarily the courses, how they align, but the ways that they can deliver it to achieve industry certification.
So what we have on the screen is a couple different ways to learn about the curriculum that aligns to the new CCST networking exam. On the top is in the yellow box. On the top are a list of all of the self-paced courses that we have. So you have networking basics, that leads into your networking devices and initial config, followed by the addressing and basic troubleshooting. And then finally, a new course that's releasing this weekend, going to be network support and security. So these are all self-paced courses. On the bottom, we have a course called Networking Essentials. This is an instructor-led only course. So this is a new version. It's going to be version 3.0, which is also releasing this weekend. And this is the instructor-led version of these 4 courses. So if you wanted to have your students go through the self-paced, they can take these smaller bite-sized courses. Or if you wanted to open it as an instructor-led course, you can do the Networking Essentials 3.0, which is the same as those 4 courses. So it can be a little confusing because do I take one? Do I take the other? It is the same content. The Networking Essentials version 3.0, not 2.0, but version 3.0 is going to be all 4 of these courses just put together. So it's the same content, no worries there. On the left-hand side, we do have the blue box. These are recommended courses for students who are coming in that have no knowledge whatsoever for computers, hardware, operating systems, anything of those nature. I know for myself personally, as a NetAcad alumni, when I was first going through the courses, it was very helpful to have a course that went through the hardware and operating systems topics. So those are very helpful for people who have zero knowledge in this industry. But they are not required in order to be able to go through the networking essentials. So they are just recommended courses, and those are both self-paced. They will also be available as instructor-led as well.
So Kristen, I have a question. Can the 4 courses that are smaller in bite size that still lead to the CCST certification be instructor facilitated as well if they choose to do so?
Absolutely. The Networking Essentials is the only one that's instructor-led only. All of the other courses, they were started as self-paced, but they are also available as instructor-led or instructor facilitated.
Right. So I wanted to point that out to you folks. So you have the flexibility to do what's best for your constituents. And just to give you an example, I'm working with Hartford, Connecticut, and the Hartford Public Schools is going to be implementing a series of pathways using Cisco courses. They decided to go with the Networking Essentials course because they'll do that during one full semester and they'll have an instructor that will facilitate it. I'm also working with the New York State IT agencies, and these are to upskill professionals that work for the IT agencies in the state of New York. They want them to achieve their CCST certification, and they're going with the top option because they're busy professionals. So they are going to go through them in a self-paced mode and take their time going through them at their leisure because they're working from 9 to 5. So again, our team has done a great job putting these courses together based upon flexibility.
Marie,
yes.
I think there might be another question in the room that Lisa's in. And Lisa, just wanted to confirm, do we have a hard stop in 15 minutes for your meeting?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll get through everything. Any other questions? Was there a question?
My question was just so each site will need to provide their own instructor, go through the trainings.
That's the ideal scenario, but what Lisa asked us earlier was could we work with them to provide a virtual instructor? So that's something we would have to explore based upon the need. But yes, typically most sites provide their own instructor.
So the other piece is in conversations with Best Buy, the Best Buy Teen Tech Centers, they're going to fund this piece. Or sites are given career readiness instructional funding and they could use that funding. So, and for us on our side, we'll have to figure out how to stipend our clubhouses if that's the route that they want to go in.
Is
Okay.
the funding for the course or their time?
No, there's no cost for the curriculum. It's the instructor.
Yeah, well,
It's
I
the
think all
instructor's
this
time.
curriculum at no cost to you, as the earlier slide showed. Okay, I'll keep going unless there's any other questions. And knowing that we have some time limitations, I'm not going to go through every slide, but this slide delineates the role that the individual could assume once they finish and achieve an industry certification. They could be a network support technician. And then we all know how it's very important, no matter your age or life stage, to be safe online. So we do have a series of courses to educate you accordingly. So the next new certification is called the Junior Cybersecurity Support Technician. And again, much like Kristen said earlier, the courses in blue on the far left are recommended knowledge that the students should have before they go into this cyber pathway. And again, we give you various options. You can do the first 2 mini courses or that network essential course, or even the first course in CCNA. And then they can progress to the courses that will align to CCST and cyber. And notice that there's 3 courses, or you could do the cybersecurity essentials. So again, flexibility, you get to choose what best meets your respective needs. And that will align to being a junior cybersecurity analyst. Now, as students go through these courses, they're going to get a badge that is basically a way that validates their skill set. They'll get a badge for each of the respective courses that they're taking, as you can see on the far left. For our cyber program, we have a cyber pathway badge, and I wonder if we're going to have a network pathway badge, Kristen. I'm just thinking out loud. But then they'll also get a Cisco certification. So as you can see, they could have multiple badges and or certifications that they can post on their Vita or their resume. Now, Red River, Richard, why don't you talk about some of the support that you can provide to the Clubhouse networks, and I'll advance the slides for you.
Perfect. Yeah, a couple of things to note here. I think Red River comes to you in a couple of different perspectives. So we are a channel partner. So we offer hardware, software services out there in the marketplace. And that's not a sales pitch. That's an opportunity to say we are an employer. And that's where we've had a relationship with Netacad for a very, very long time. In fact, one of my very first calls when I joined Red River was with Marie in terms of how could we hire Netacad graduates. And so we have the entire time and prior to my being there when I started in 2012, but we continue to have that relationship. Clearly, we've talked about our capability as an Academy Support Center, ASC, and an ITC, an Instructor Training Center. I think the other piece that I'd want to mention is we have a charitable foundation, and that is really focused on two initiatives, student and veteran initiatives. So we have lots of great scholarships for a number of those individuals. We have a dedicated high school experiential learning program called Think Smart, hands-on experiential. We actually will use a lot of the content within Skills for All and NetAcad as we deliver that. And the Academy program is a new in career, oftentimes recent college graduate that we run, and it's a 12-week accelerated development program. So just wanted to really kind of mention a lot of the programs that we're supporting, a lot of the initiatives, our programs and things that we run internally as well. And you can click on those links and learn more about our education and our charitable foundation programs. Clearly, the things that we're supporting, right, from the Cisco offerings, you know, we have IT Essentials and the CCST program, again, line to CompTIA and the Certiport certifications, which are really important. But we also have the CCNA, the CCNP, DevNet, and Cyber Associate. And I think this is really important because, you know, Lisa and Cassandra reminded us, it's not just the participants in the clubhouse, but also their family members and alumni of the program. So I think there's some really great offerings that we have that support very, very valuable industry certifications, and they're great career kind of building blocks and opportunities that we can help and support for you. And, you know, I think this kind of recaps the content that we were sharing, but through the conversations with Lisa and Cassandra, it sounded like we were talking about a pilot program, again, where we would help and support and really kind of building out the alignment with Red River. How do we support your go live in and again, this has changed, but the September, October timeframe, and we want to onboard as many locations as we can. We've got great summer education that's planned, and Iris talked about the flexibility that we offer there. There's definitely an opportunity, could we need to provide some adjunct support to support those things. And the other thing I think that's really important is many of the programs, whether it's Skills for All or NetAcad, offer lots of different language support options, which is important. And I know Skills for All is adding new things every day, but you know, just I think this hopefully will you know, we can get some alignment on all the different things that we're talking about. But we're very eager to support you all. You know, this is an amazing opportunity, and it aligns with so many of the initiatives that we do corporately within Red River, but also, you know, our over 300 academic institutions that we support around the world today. So we're very excited to continue forward with you all.
Thank you, Richard. I really appreciate that. And as we talked about, all of our courses do align to either digital badges and/or industry certification. And we talked about how there's alignment with, you know, community colleges for articulation. Knowing we have 5 minutes, I'm going to just quickly go through this. You'll have all these slides and pretty much they're self-explanatory. I talked about earlier that we want to connect our students to employment opportunities. Think about Talent Bridge as a service. The matching engine just happens to be one of those services. And we can connect your students to entry-level career opportunities with channel partners only. And that can be in a global nature. We have formulated a partnership that I mentioned with Manpower, and we can help connect your students using their Mighty portal, which is a free service to Networking Academy students, much like Talent Bridge is a free service. And the difference here is we would connect your students to small, medium, and large commercial and or enterprise customers throughout the world. So we're really covering all bases. Here's just some information about cybersecurity that I'll let you read on your own, but we're trying to ensure that we have pathways that align to our curriculum that delineates the job roles, the key skills that they need, and the credentials that the students could acquire. And just from an impact perspective, we have some great stories. This gentleman went through our program in Massachusetts. He has a disability and he's working now for an IT company. Globally, Armand from France was blind, and he's been working within our program as well. And this is that course catalog I was talking about. Just to give you a quick screenshot, it's hyperlinked. It gives you a course overview, the benefits, what it prepares your students for, very specific course detail information, the estimate time to complete the course. Kristen had said we recommend the times, but quite honestly, sometimes people will extend the duration depending upon the skill set of the learners that go through the course, whether it should be instructor-led or self-paced or both. What are the components and what do they get when they finish, and so forth. And then here's an actual screenshot of that course catalog. So if you went through the network basic course, it covers foundational networking as well as the devices, media, and protocols. Notice it's only a 25-hour course. It can be instructor guided or self-paced. There's 17 modules, 13 practice labs, and so forth. You get a digital badge. And then on the far right, do you have to work with an ASE? No, but Richard's available if you want customized training for that. And there's no physical equipment that's required. So why partner with us? We're making your students highly marketable, and we have lots of benefits relative to the program. And then we put together a chart, knowing that this is global, that just talks about all the different versions the curriculum will be updated in. And today we just simply learned that, Spanish, Portugal, and French will be available in May at some point for these new industry certifications that we had available. So with that, I'll stop and I'll answer any questions that you all might have. And I know we've given you lots of information, but rest assured we'll follow up and give you the material so that you can digest it and come back to us with questions. Let's see. I see somebody in chat. Do you
One
have
of the chat questions? Yeah, Marie, I think the mentor and the alumni examples, those are those last slides that you provided that hopefully address that and the path that they've taken. But I think specifically entrepreneurship route. Do we have any other examples of things like that we could share?
Yeah, so one of the things to point out relative to mentors or examples of alumni that have taken the course. We definitely have success stories, of alumni, and if you wanted to be in touch with some of them, we could see if we could make the connections. But I didn't include in this deck, and I will before I send it out, is we have a program called SE Connect, where you can go online and request a systems engineer such that they can virtually provide support to your classroom. Kristen, I know we've targeted US and Canada, but is that a global program at this point?
So the SE Connect program is a North and South America program at this moment. That's who we've run this program through. There's also another program that's not available yet, but we are working on expanding this SE Connect out. So that is actually an initiative that I'm leading with Jill Alcorn and one of our business development managers, Sarah Shreve. So we are working on expanding that SE Connect further out and hopefully in more detail. More details to come on that one. I can't really go into much detail there, but yes. So SE Connect is for now North America and South America.
Okay, great. So I'll make sure I put a slide in there. I see the last question about learner profile. And I'll tell you what I recall, and I'll ask for clarification from some of our team members. It used to be that you had to have a 6th grade reading level and or be able to complete algebra to go into our career ready courses. I don't believe that's the case for Skills for All. And I don't know, Kristen, if we've delineated anywhere the requirements for the learner relative to math and reading and so forth.
Not sure, but I can look into it and find
Get
out
back
for
to
you
us.
more. Yeah.
Okay, great. We'll certainly do our investigation, and that will be good for all of us on the call to have that answer, because I'm sure other people will come to us with that question. Who can we contact to ask about data about course participation. So Richard's team will teach you how you can access the data for each of your respective courses. There's a grade book and there's a way to view if students have completed assignments, if they've completed exams, what the test results are. So it's very, delineated in data for you.
A
But they'll
big
teach
part of the education is about how to use the learning management system and to get the most out of that, and to make sure the experience with your learners is the best. But there's all sorts of metrics and information that we can help share and show you how to extract.
Okay, great. Good questions, everybody. Any more? Hopefully we met your goals today, and hopefully we didn't inundate you with too much information. But we're here to answer the questions, and what would be the best way to do it is to funnel them through Lisa so that she can compile, one email and send it to both my team and Richard's team, and then we could answer them accordingly for you. Lisa,
Thank you very much. Thank you to the Cisco team. Thank you, Richard, representing Red River. There was one more question on our side, and I just want to share it with the team because I know this is a lot of information. And I've mentioned before, the initial introduction to any learning management system is a heavy lift. And Cassandra has been leading the launch and project managing, getting us to this point. And so there is a rollout plan. And a part of the rollout plan is one, we have about 31 sites that have opted in that say they're interested. They will be invited to a webinar where they will be coached through the process. And we're going to do that pretty soon. But I do need everyone's input based on what you heard. And I know it's a lot of information really fast. We're going to have to spend some time and figure out what works best for a network based on what you know about your partners. So we won't ever roll out anything new that isn't done in a way that's respectful to the staff of sites at a pace that they can kind of access, but also there has been discussions around how to fund those sites that may want to do instructor-led. And so that's why we're really fighting hard to bring in some workforce development money to fund this. But we have a little pot of money now. And so I just wanted to say that to staff, because I know you're all, if one question came up, you're all probably wondering, what's the rollout look like? We're going to bring those sites that have opted in. Jason created a form to ask some questions about their interest. Cassandra's done an amazing job of data analyzing and compiling all of that information so that when we meet with them, we already have their thoughts in mind and their experience level of using learning management systems. And there's a range. So I promise you, for those of you that are responsible for relationships to program sites, we will do this with your voice included, and we will do it in a way that's thoughtful. But what we do know from our initial survey, sites are excited. They want this. They were trying to do it on their own. And this is part of our technical assistance to our global network. So send your questions in so we can figure out how best to prep the Red River and Cisco team so that when we do bring sites together, we're really well prepared to support them. Okay?
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank
so
you.
much.
There's a small group of us staying on just to chat with Richard. For anyone that's interested in getting started now with an individual login, stay on. Richard's going to walk us through. We might need 2 seconds to grab your laptop so that you can do that. Everyone else, thank you for listening in, and we'll see you at lunch.
Y'all are doing that in here?
Yeah, is that okay? Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Richard, can we have 5 minutes to transition?
Absolutely. And the best part is you're going to have someone way smarter than me helping you and Ira.
Awesome. Matt, thanks for hanging on. Thank you, Jason. Thank you, Cassandra. Marie, I'll chat with you later.
Sure.
Are you
no
staying
problem.
on? Okay.
Yeah, I'll stay on too because I want to watch because I'm like Richard, I don't set up classes, so anything I can do to learn.
I'm gonna grab my
and
laptop.
Jill will be on as
Anything
well
saying?
because she's an expert in setting up,
Yeah.
much like Iris, so they can
I
both.
already started the
collaborate.
organization or whatever. I have some notes that I'll just share.
Oh, I'm sorry. He's gonna use this room.
Iris,
Yeah.
are you comfortable that we leave the recording on so that they have access?
Yeah,
Recording?
Renee's not here, so we'll have him,
You
we'll
wanna
reach
pause
out
it,
later
Marie?
about data reporting.
Say
There's a
that-
party in the office, so he's gone.
I asked if you wanted to pause the recording until everyone's back together.
Everyone's not getting back to it already.
Yeah, it's just us. We're ready to go.
Oh, okay,
Okay.
sorry about that. Perfect.
No, that's okay. Good. That was a good recommendation.
Okay,
Thank you.
so everybody's ready?
Mm-hmm.
My laptop is.
Share my-
I'm ready.
Oh,
I'm all
okay.
set. Not that new.
Okay. Yes, we're ready.
Okay, and excuse me, I'm fighting with allergies that I never had before.
You're
So
not
this
alone.
is right.
So what site are we logging into? Can you give me an
This-
address?
That's skills for all.
It's skills for all, one word.com. Let me know when you guys are ready.
And Iris, Lisa is set up as an academy. And I don't know if other folks that might be on their computer, if she's added them as users. So when the,
I did. Everybody on the phone should be added in as a user or an administrator of some sort.
okay,
Oh, great.
I don't know if I did it right, but I think I did.
we'll find out.
And they were added to Netacad, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so
Jason, can you tell, or Cassandra, can you tell if I added you in?
Yeah, so I have an account at netacad.com and I am administrator there.
Okay.
and you have already activated your account, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Question,
Yeah,
is it the same for skills for all as it is for
Repeat the question, Cassandra. We couldn't hear you.
is the login the same?
Well, we're going to show you that. Yeah.
Okay.
So does everyone see the same I'm showing now?
Mhm.
And really,
Um,
have an account, you can just click the Cisco Networking Academy button.
Iris, you need to get a little closer to your mic. We're
No.
in and out.
no, I think that the audio issues are coming from the TCN office. I think it's something with that microphone is interfering.
We need
Okay, I will mute. I will mute.
Great. And I think what Iris is telling you is real important because you're an academy and we want you to be able to set up your courses as an academy. So, you know, a lot of people make the mistake and enter their email at the top and their password and log in. We don't want you to do that. If you're an existing networking academy instructor, you're going to, or user, you're going to click on the NetAcad button.
Okay. I didn't have to do this before, but I'll put my email in.
Why are you doing that?
Oh, no. So you can click on the NetAcad button. And it
Are
will,
we, I just want to confirm real quick, we're not at netacad.com, we're over at skillsforall.com right now?
That's
Is that
correct,
right?
that's
Jason.
correct.
Okay, I don't think I've logged in there before. Let me see.
Okay,
You have to be at the page that Iris was on at skillsforall.com, and then you click on the blue button and enter your information.
now because I was already logged into Netacad, I didn't have to put in my password. It had my email address and it logged me in automatically. But normally you can put in your email address and it will redirect you and ask for your password as you log in, if you are not already logged into Netacad.
So I'm a little confused. I've never had to log in by putting my email above. All I had to do is click on the blue button at the bottom because it's a single sign-in, like Jill is saying. If you have a Netacad login, you just click on the blue button.
And we saw what happened. I agree with you. I've never had to do that before either.
Okay. So the rule, folks, is typically click on the blue button when you're logging in. But what it told you, Iris, was what it timed out?
Yeah, I think that someone was logging in, but they stayed on the page too long, so the page had to refresh,
Okay.
or the login would work.
Okay. How about Jason? Were you able to log in clicking on the blue button?
Was, yeah. As soon as I clicked on the blue button, I went through the same login steps that I would as at netacad.com.
And how about Cassandra and Matt? Are you folks in as well?
Yeah, I'm good to go.
Matt, how
Okay.
about you?
No, I'm not. It goes to a password screen for me, and this is a stage I haven't been to, so I haven't set up a password for this.
Okay.
Okay, you haven't activated your Netacad account.
No, so is that where I go to unlock account?
I don't see, Matt, I don't think an account was created for you, but I can do that right now.
Oh, thanks,
Let,
Jason.
let me see if I can set that up.
Okay.
Okay, do you want me to continue or?
Why don't we wait to see if Jason can set up something for Matt so we're all at the same page together?
Okay.
Thanks.
And we appreciate everybody's flexibility as we go through this. Because we were just asked to do this morning, so.
Okay, I just created an account for you, Matt. So maybe if you check your email, you might get an email notification about that.
Okay, checking.
Asking you to activate your account
Yep. Activate account.
and create a profile.
Okay. Got it. Yeah, I'm activated and setting up my password now.
While we're waiting on that, I actually had a question. So, the skills to succeed, skills for all, and the Cisco Netiquette, those are the two things that you guys are working on integrating, correct? Based on your presentation, you're working on
Correct.
integrating. Okay.
Yes.
It will still have the same website. It'll be the new netacad.com. So you'll still have the same landing page as well.
Okay, so I'll just be one login page for both.
Right.
Makes sense.
Okay, I think I just passed the last phase here. Account created. Okay, and it looks like I'm in the same screen as you were. I'm teaching courses. I'm teaching news and events.
Perfect. Okay, good. So Iris, continue, and then Jill, feel free to interject as well.
Okay, so once you log in, you are listed as a learner. And the one important key for being a learner, if you want to obtain badges for completing the courses as you go through them, you have to complete those as learners. Okay, because we're going to switch to instructor so that you can create the courses to share with your students. But You have to complete the courses as a learner if you want to obtain the badge yourself.
Makes sense.
These are all of the courses that I have as a learner that I'm going through. To change to instructor, you would click on this down, there's a down arrow here under the skills for all, and you will find your academy as an instructor and click on that. Guys, good, any questions? And switch the role. So when so when you switch the role, then you will see instructor under your name. And then you can create classes to share with your students. Once you have created classes, you will see them under My Classes. You can create additional classes here, or you can go to the catalog and it will show you a list of all of the classes. And you can use the filter here on the left if you're looking for something specific. And it will give you a description of each class. And you can scroll through and look at different classes until you see one that you want to create. So let's create the intro to cyber. You can click on this. How's everybody doing?
Good.
Oh, this isn't the right way. Let me see. Let me go back to the catalog. Click on My Classes. And then on the right, click on Create Class and Course. And this will take you to the list under the Create Class. Let's get started. So this is a list of all of the classes again. And I'll create the Intro to Cybersecurity. You can create any class that you want. Select that, and then you have to scroll to the bottom to go to Next. And you will select your language here. You have several options. And it's giving you a description, the title of the class. Click Next. You can enter your start and end date. And Jill, I'm not exactly sure how long the class can be, but the end date is pretty flexible.
Yeah, I haven't found an end date that didn't work. I put it for 99 years the other day and it took it.
Great. So you can enter any date that you want. Click Next. And here is where you can modify the title, the description, even the marketing content to share. You have several different tools you can use if you want to add additional information here. There's a desktop view and a mobile device view. So you can change it. You can say it's self-paced, instructor-led. You can put in any description you want. You can put the Clubhouse network. Changes there. Any questions?
Iris, I have a question. Can you scroll back up because I'm learning as well? It says desktop view, and if you click on mobile view, will it just show it how it would look on a mobile device? Ah, okay. That's what I thought. Okay, so it's showing you what it would look like if a learner is viewing it on a desktop, or if you click on mobile device, what they will see on their mobile device. Okay, great. Thank you.
You can also change the image. If you wanted to upload an image of some sort, you could do that clicking here.
And Jill said she'd like to point out that you can change the photo to your organization's logo.
Yes.
And Matt, you have a question?
Yeah, just a quick question about the languages. Are when we did the drop down for the different languages is offered in, is that all the languages in the academy? Are there other courses in, say, like non-European languages? And is there a way to search by language if there is?
Good question. I know that we customize our netacad.com courses in over 20 different languages. And because we're migrating to this new learning management system, we're working with the different countries to customize the language. But as you can well imagine, that takes time. So this morning we learned that in the Skills for All courses, for the new entry-level certifications, there'll be Spanish is in progress. Portugal and French will be available in May. So it's a work in progress. And in the slide deck that I have that you'll be receiving, it shows you what language for what courses. That makes sense?
So there are courses in other languages besides the drop down that we just looked at?
I believe so, yes.
And we can, if we were just, like, say, if it was a site in the Philippines that wanted to see what courses were offered in Tagalog, there would be a way to search via the language that you're looking for to find out what courses are available?
I don't know.
I can show you that actually if you'd like.
Yeah,
Okay.
please, Jill. That'd be
And
great.
sorry, that might be a side rail, but yeah. It does.
Oh, it's honestly really easy. I just wanted to point out that that particular course that Iris is showing has each of the languages that we support on skillsforall.com. So English, Spanish, French, Portuguese, Ukrainian, and German. So you can, I'm right here on the learning catalog. So instead of my learning, I go to the catalog and you can click. And so if I want to see every single one in Ukrainian, it shows me these different courses.
Oh, cool. So those are the ones that we have right now to answer your questions.
Yes.
Gotcha. Thank you.
All right, Iris, you can take it back.
This is the right one. Okay. So let's keep going. So from here, after you've made all of your marketing changes, click next, and you can add instructors. And these are a list of the instructors that are in my NetAcad Academy. So you can add any of those, anyone that's listed as an instructor or an administrator.
So as Jason and Matt are looking at this, do they see other names and Cassandra in that drop-down menu? And it might be the ones that Lisa put into the system?
Yes, I see everybody's names there.
Okay, great.
Okay,
That's
great.
what I thought. I wanted to point that out.
Yep, same.
You can have more than one instructor. You can add the instructors that you like. If I can add an additional instructor or delete. So then it shows you the preview of what you'll see when you create the course. And this is the one change that I made.
Oh yeah, you put Red River. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And
I have a question about instructors.
okay.
So let's say, actually, let me think about how to ask the question. So if we have different sites within the network and they have different instructors hired to teach different courses, would it be that they would have their own instructor profile on Skills to Succeed in NetAcad, and then we would add them, or like, is there like a master instructor and then you add people and they don't have to have their own instructor account, or does every instructor have to have their own instructor account? I don't know if I asked that well, but
Yes, every instructor has to have their own account on NetAcad.
okay.
and then they are automatically available in Skills for All.
Okay. And then quick follow-up, does every instructor account have like full administrative privileges? So for example, can an instructor from a particular site look at other instructors, courses or other instructors' things, or are they just limited to their particular, the courses that they create?
Now, Jill, you might know that better. I think if,
I can answer that. So
okay,
so basically you would be able to see any course for which you've been designated as an instructor. So if Marie adds me as an instructor to the course, then I can see all the information about that course. But if Marie creates her own separate course and I'm just an instructor, then I wouldn't be able to see Marie's course unless she adds me as an instructor or unless she like exports that and sends that to me, if that makes sense.
Okay. So it sounds like there might be some slight differences with maybe administrative privileges with certain people, or
Correct.
okay. So if you have full administrative, then you can create courses and assign people to assign instructors to courses, but it doesn't necessarily mean that an instructor can view or add or move people around in the same way.
Yeah, so the main difference would be like how you can like what your role is in like the academy. If you're just an instructor, you can create a course, you can add whatever instructors you want that are associated with your academy. But if I don't add Marie, then Marie can't like look at my academy information, at my course information, unless I would go ahead and add that to her or share that with her.
Okay, I think that makes sense. Thank you.
Okay.
Now, what's interesting, Cassandra, that's a great question. And I have another document I can send you about the different roles. And all those roles that I'm going to send you are applicable on netacad.com. Keep in mind that Skills for All was created initially to be self-paced and instructor guided, but we're rolling out next week instructor facilitated with all different new functionalities. And it's still in what we call the alpha phase, which means you're not going to have the same privileges that you have in netacad.com just yet. It's going to roll out in different phases. So on Skills for All, you don't have the same instructor privileges that you have on netacad.com. Not yet, but you will at some point. Over the next year, we're rolling it out in phases, the alpha phase, the beta phase, and then there's one more phase that I can't remember what it's called.
Thank you.
Yep.
everyone else,
Iris, go ahead and show them how.
everybody else is good? Okay, so then you would publish it. It's never taken this long. Okay, and then you come to this screen. You can either go to another class or invite learners. So if you click on this, and you can get to this again, you will get a link to send in an email, or you can import your students yourself.
So the link is if you want to send a communication to your students to click on to access that course, or you can upload a CSV file.
Mhm.
Make sense? Yeah, okay, I see nods.
So let me go to that course. So if you have, once you'll see your courses in this drop down after you have created those. And there are different options that you can access the course from this view. You can view the course, you can edit the screens that we just walked through, you can go back and edit. Or you can pause enrollment, which means the students can no longer enroll. So if you click on view, it will take you to the course. And again, you can invite learners, you can open the course, you can see the outline, the learners, once they are enrolled,
Mhm.
the grades from your learners, and the resources. So here you can download the scope and sequence and the overview documents for the course.
Now, another thing to share with you, I believe on the 24th, we're going to be launching both a partner and an instructor guide on how to do everything that Iris and Jill are showing you today. And you'll be able to access that, I believe, on netacad.com under the Skills for All resources that Kristen shared with you today.
And you can always send me an email if you have questions. Please feel free. I'm here to help. We can walk through this again if you need to. Let me know.
Thank you, Iris. Quick question. So I see, we how to get, data regarding instructor-led courses. Now, if somebody's doing self-paced learning, is there any data around that we can see?
So you would still have to create the course and they would still have to enroll. So there has to be an administrator for that course. So you can still, you'll see all of this after they.
Okay. Is it possible to take courses like entirely self-paced without having to create an instructor-led course, or do we have to create the courses for them to become available to other people, whether there's an instructor or not?
So I'm going to answer that question for you. So the tool gives you the functionality such that a user can just simply log in to skillsforall.com with their name and password. You saw that in the beginning, as opposed to clicking on the NetAcad button. But we don't want them to do that. We really want you to create an academy with the user information so that you can keep track, and Lisa wants to keep track of who's going through what courses. So it's really all about data collection, because we wouldn't be able to give you any information whatsoever on those users who just automatically click and go through a course on their own. Now, there's nothing to say that maybe some of your, Clubhouse network learners know about this site already, and they might have already logged in and taken a course on their own. But moving forward, we really want to set up academies with names of, the facilitator, the instructor, what courses you're doing, so we can capture all the data accordingly.
I see. So if we're then creating a course that is not necessarily instructor-led, but we want to create it in this way so that we have the data, what would you recommend as an end date for something like that, where people can just kind of drop in whenever and we just want it to be open?
You leave that up to you. We leave that up
Yeah.
to you. We really can't, dictate that. Like Jill said, you could create a class up for 99 years, but is that realistic?
Right.
And another thought might be, we've had a lot of experience with these self-enroll courses before the rollout of Skills for All. There was the ability to create some courses in netacad.com. And what we found is the completion rate wasn't very good because there was no instructor facilitator. Because you can go in and look at the data, and you might then email somebody and say, hey, Marie, I noticed you signed up for this course, but it's a year later and you're still on chapter 1. Do you have any intention of finishing the course? Certain people's created what's called, like learning circles, whereby it's, think about a book club. You read the book on your own and you specify a time frame, but then you get together with the book club members or the technology club members just to discuss what they've been learning, and you could put together time frames and so forth to ensure that people are knowledgeable about what they're learning. So that's just a thought.
And the other thing is you can go back in and edit the end date. So if you have set it up for 1 year, next year you can go back in and extend that date again, if that's what you choose to do.
I do want to point out that it has to be before that course is ended. So I can't go back and decide, oh, wait, I had this course last year and I want it to end next year. So it has to be, you can change it up until that date.
That day.
Got it. So when it ends, and there's no reopening it.
No, you'd have to create a new course.
Yep. Got it. Makes
So
sense.
Jason, to jump in on your question, what I would probably recommend is, and again, this is up to sites, but when we're doing like pathway stuff, I would set like a time frame that's maybe like the length of a school year, right? Depending on how long the course takes, or if someone's doing like an intro course over the summer, you could do like the length of the summer, and then have someone kind of nudge people along to complete it by that time. That's the initial thought that pops into my head in terms of like setting a time frame.
Yeah.
But that would be, individual sites, but like, setting a parameter of like, we have the summer to complete this, or we have the school year to complete this, or whatever makes sense might be a good approach for folks.
Mm.
I can share with you something that one of my sites has done. Like one of my other partners has done because they're doing something I think that's similar. They are assigning courses, so they actually uploaded a CSV file, so that they could assign these students these courses. And they said, okay, on May 1st, we're going to look at the grades. And so if you, I wish I could show it to you, but it's like, confidential data. But like, so we want to see that you've done module 1, module 2, and module 3, and that's by May. And then in June, we're going to check again, and we're going to check your grades. But they did end up leaving the course open a little longer after their course might have ended physically or, online or whatever, just so that students could still access that information if they wanted to refer back to it.
So
that
they
sounds like a really smart way to do it. I like that, because you leave it open enough for people to kind of take the entire month to do it, but then you have someone checking along the way to make sure that progress is being made. So
Thank you, Jill. That was a great suggestion.
Completely different question. And looking at this page right here, where you see on the right-hand side towards the top, Switch Academy, where it currently says Red River Technology. So we have, what was it, 29, 31 sites that have signed up with us.
Right.
When they are created, when those sites are created, are they going to appear here in that drop-down list?
Well, no, this is my login, and these are the academies that I'm affiliated with. So if you are an instructor or staff at any of the others, that will show up in your dropdown. But this is my login, so it's just the academies I'm affiliated with. Or
Would you need that to be, Jason, for kind of an overview and
Right.
Jill or Kristen, what options do we have there?
Yeah, I was going to ask that the Clubhouse Network administrators could be listed as the instructor for all those X number of academies, and then you would see all of the information, Jason, but that really shouldn't be from one academy to the next to see other people's, data, but maybe from an administrative perspective, and you'd have to ask Lisa that, do certain people want to have purview to everything that's going on? And I think that's what you were saying, Richard.
Yes, and that is where my question was coming from. I would confirm with Lisa, of course, but I'm imagining that, us on Clubhouse Network staff as administrators would want access to the data for the other sites.
Mm-hmm.
So,
So they would create you as an instructor for their site as well, so that you could have preview to the information.
gotcha. So have those, and just wondering, have those other academies, those other sites, have they been created yet? Or is that something that's still, it's going to happen later?
So that's a great question. So let me share with you the strategy. How academies typically become an academy is that each organization fills out what's called a Become an Academy form. And then they get respective emails letting them know that they've been approved to become an academy, to then go ahead and create a user profile and have somebody be what we call the contact. Now, knowing that this is a partnership with over 135, we thought that would be pretty onerous. So we at Cisco are working with our business intelligence team to create all 135. Lisa just gave me the go-ahead. We have not done that yet because we thought it would be prudent to wait till we educate you on the benefits of Networking Academy, so that you're not bombarded with these questions on what is this Become an Academy approval form. And at the same time, knowing that this is a global program, although I'm overseeing the whole implementation, each business development manager and their respective geographies are going to have to approve the lead. So I have to update all the regional managers and all the business development managers first and foremost. So the answer is no, they have not been created yet. This was the first step. The second step will be that I will send an email to all the regional managers, making them apprised of this partnership, and then they in turn will email all their business development managers under their purview saying that they have to approve all of the respective academies that will be forthcoming.
Got it. Okay, that's helpful to know. One other question related to this, and it might be a little bit technical, but I created the document with all of the sites that was sent along to you,
Okay.
and the full names for our sites, which many of them, the Best Buy Teen Tech Center, start with the Best Buy Teen Tech Center at, and then the name, like, and some of them are pretty long. Like these are extremely long names, and I'm just looking at the size of this drop-down window on this page, and I'm wondering, are these names too long? Should I be providing you with like shortened names? Because if the names are gonna like extend over the edge, then nobody's going to be able to tell the difference between any of the site names. It's going to be like the Best Buy Teen Tech Center, and then we can't see what's after it.
So that's a great question, and I don't know the answer to that. Why don't you send me personally an email making reference to what you've just questioned? But I do know that I told Lisa, and hopefully she shared it with you, that it has to be the legal name of the organization. Whatever the name of the organization is legally, that's what it has to be in our database.
I see. Okay, if that's the case, then I think we're going to need to take another look at that list and make sure that is the case.
Okay, so great.
Before those are created.
Okay, great. So I'll wait to hear from you before I
Mhm.
authorize our business intelligence team to go ahead and create all those respective academies. And I looked at the document real quickly, and I forwarded it along to Jill and Kristen, who was on the call, as well as our business intelligence folks. But you bring up a good point, and you probably didn't know that it needed to be the legal nomenclature of the organization. And the reason being is we create what's called impact profiles for each of our countries, and it delineates our in-kind contribution. And we list each of those academies on that document. So we want to make sure it's accurate information, because sometimes our government affairs team pulls that document if they're meeting with, for example, the Ministry of Education or the President of Italy, and they share this in-kind contribution document. Let me just pull one up to show it to you, just so that you get a sense. So that's why we have to ensure that it is, legal from a representative perspective. So just give me a second to find it. Oh, here it is.
Marie, is there an option? And Jason, I don't know if this is an option either. Could you do that as like an acronym so that, Best Buy Teen Center or something? Could you do BBTN and then something if we ran out of space?
Yeah, so we use for Best Buy Teen Tech Center, we'll often use BBTTC, so it can be shortened in that way.
Right. So I pulled up Massachusetts, knowing that Lisa's in Massachusetts. So we publish these every single year. They're provided to our sales team, our government teams, and we as business development managers, when we meet with new academies, they're always asking us, well, who are we partnering with, and so forth. So here's the Massachusetts impact profile delineating who was part of the program last year, what were our metrics, and what were our in-kind contributions in total. So as you can see, last year we supported over 3,000 students, but cumulatively we've supported over 34,000 students with 100 active instructors in 50 institutions. And then we go ahead and legally list them by name. So that's why we need to ensure that the list you give us truly represents the organization's name.
Well, Marie, in Netacad, there's a legal name and a local name, and that is a name that the main contact can edit. So that can be changed. So there are two different fields in Netacad. And
I didn't know about that. All I know is when somebody applies to become an academy, they have to fill out the form with their legal name. What's
so
the
let me
purpose
share
of
this.
having different names?
Maybe that same thing, but here is the legal name.
I can't see right. Show me what we're looking at, Iris.
You can't see my screen?
I can. So what is the legal name? Red River Technology LLC?
Yes. And
Okay.
that's hard coded. That cannot be edited.
Okay.
But here is a name that can be edited. So the local name can change.
And why would somebody do that? I never
Well-
knew this, and I'm asking why would they do this?
I
I
think
don't know, but maybe.
I think
I
Marie, just like an example, it could be University of Massachusetts at Amherst, and local could be UMass Amherst.
Okay. All right.
And maybe that's what appears under the drop down. Maybe the drop down is the local name, not the legal name. I'm just guessing.
Yeah, and I don't know, Jason, this is the first time I'm learning it too, I don't use the system like Iris is using it, so she knows all of these intricacies, and Jill uses it as well.
So it sounds like what you'll want in the end, though, is just an updated spreadsheet that maybe has two columns. We want to include the legal name, and then if there's like a shortened local name, maybe that's a separate column in the spreadsheet.
I don't want
No.
the local name. I
You
only
don't want the local name.
No, I only want the legal name because that's the only thing that will be accepted by our legal team.
Okay, so when the sites are created, though, in that local name field, that can't be automatically populated with data that I give you?
I'm not sure I understand your question. When the academy is created, like Iris showed you, her academy is listed as Red River LLC.
That's the legal name, but since there's also a field that says local name, is that data that I can give you that you can plug into the profile, or does that have to be added after the fact?
Quite honestly, I don't know anything about this. This is all new to me, and I don't know the purpose of putting in a local name and if it's even reflected anywhere.
Okay.
Because if you do a search for an academy, it comes up with the legal name. It does not come up with the local name. So I don't know why we even have that feature. And Jill, do you know?
I think it's for purposes kind of like this, when you have a very long name, or if you have a name that's different, that you refer to something differently than maybe its legal name. Like the students all know it as one thing, but maybe it's an online university that's part of something else, so they really regionally refer to it as something different. But what I was wondering, if to answer that question, Iris, you as the ASC member, or the ASC can edit that for them if they give that information to you, because you'd be able to edit it perhaps.
Yes, I think that should be handled by the main contact.
Yeah, I agree.
Try to change it. So I'm not sure if I would be able to save it if I started typing, but the main contact, I'm sure, could do it.
Okay. I'm wondering, and then this is a question for us on our end, I think, but just taking our own clubhouse into account. So we are the Clubhouse network, and we operate a clubhouse that's called the Flagship Clubhouse, a Best Buy Teen Tech Center. But that I don't think the Flagship Clubhouse is a legal name. It's kind of like a doing business as, I guess. And I suspect that's probably the case with all of our clubhouses, that there is a host organization, and the host organization would be this legal name. But then the clubhouse that they operate, I don't know that there is a legal name attached to that. The legal name might be the host organization name.
Yeah, so I don't know the answers to any of this. You'd have to delineate that to me in an email, and we have to send it to our legal team, because they do checks on names to, it used to be that people would say University of Massachusetts Cisco Networking Academy. So that would obviously be rejected. because they wanted it to be reflected as a University of Massachusetts. But what you're going into is a whole different realm above and beyond my grade level. So we'd have to check with the legal teams on all of this.
I
Okay.
have a quick question. I just want to jump in because I have to jump
Sure.
off soon. So once Jason gets you that updated list of the legal names, what's the approximate time frame in terms of how long it'll take you guys on your end to kind of get all 130 sites into the academy so that they're ready to go?
Yeah, quite honestly, I don't know the answer to that either, but they're pretty expeditious. When somebody fills out a Become an Academy form within 24 hours, I, as the business development manager, receive a lead and approve it. So I think they're going to be, pretty expeditious.
Okay, so then would the order of operations be that each I guess I'm trying to distinguish. So you guys said that you're going to add everyone in on the back end, and then sites get to opt in. So those 29 sites that are like, yes, we're interested in piloting, they would be able to move forward and kind of set up their courses and stuff like that. But isn't there a back end process so that everyone can even access that because they're part of the Clubhouse Network Academy? Is that two different things or the same thing?
So if I understand your question correctly, once they're entered into the system, here's the process. It will come to the respective business development managers in their geo. And that's why I have to send out an email communication for the regional managers and the business development managers to approve all of the respective Clubhouse networks. Once the BDM, which is me and my counterparts around the globe, approve that, then the business intelligence team will update our salesforce.com database and send out all sorts of different communications telling them that you've been approved to move forward. Please go ahead and accept the membership agreement. So then they have to go online and accept the membership agreement. Once they accept the membership agreement, it will be reflected in our system. They'll get another email that will say, thank you for accepting the membership agreement. Now you need to go through our orientation course. You need to select your Academy Support Center, and you can begin to create classes. So I can forward to you all that communication process just so that you understand how it works.
Yeah, that's perfect, because then I'll be basing kind of our timeline and communication to the network on what they can expect next based on that process. So that's going to be super helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, and I think what we should do is we should also tell our business intelligence team if there's a way that they could automatically designate Red River as the ASC so that nobody has to go in and accept it. So I probably need Lisa to send me an email, and I don't know if she's still on the call. So Cassandra, could you take it as an action item that when Jason gives me this updated legal name list, she has to say that, is there a way Cisco could legally assign Red River as the Academy Support Center of choice for all 135 academies?
Okay. All right. Gotcha. I can do that.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And you guys have great questions. We're all learning together. So thank you for your patience.
Okay.
What
Any
else?
other questions you have, Jason, that we might need to?
I think that's all the big questions I have at the moment.
Okay.
Great. I'm gonna stop the recording, and